Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady. And in this episode, we'll see first two stories about crazy Karen in the store, then one little story about a guy who pretended to be a good friend of the golf club owner. But he didn't know he had a little surprise coming. So let's get started. Lady claims I assaulted her after I tell her not to touch me. This happened a few weeks ago, so this is kind of fresh in my mind. I'm about 13, not 100% sure of my height, but I'm taller than an average 13-year-old, but my voice isn't as deep as most 13-year-olds, so I guess that evens out. I was at Walmart with my mom that day. I'm not 100% sure what the employee outfits are, but they seem to be a blue shirt with the logo on it and black pants. I was wearing a red hoodie with a teen shirt underneath and blue jeans. M is mom, K is Karen, me is me, and WM is Walmart manager. So me and my mom were thinking about doing a craft I found on YouTube where you make designs on t-shirts using bleach. We're very much into arts and crafts, so we love to do these random things we find. We head to Walmart to get the things we need when my mom remembers she had to get some fabric for pillowcases she wanted to make. We head over to the little arts and crafts section where the people cut your fabric and stuff. There's nobody there. So we press the little button to get help and wait about 10 minutes. I'm pretty experienced in cutting fabric, so I offer to do it, and she says, "Oh yeah, that's probably a better idea than just sitting around waiting." It was a pretty basic cut, so I do it and give it to her. We're about to leave, and she has to go to the bathroom and tells me to stay there, so I take a seat on a bench near the area where the employees cut the fabric for you. I pull my headphones over my ears and start scrolling on my phone. I then feel a sharp tap on my shoulder. I look up to see a Karen. Classic, "Can I see your manager haircut?" I start thinking in my head, oh crap, she's going to ask where my parents are, until she says something I couldn't hear, so I say, "Sorry, what?" She then yells at me, "You shouldn't be listening to music at work. Why aren't you behind the counter?" I then say, "Oh, I don't work here. I'm just waiting for my mom, sorry." Her eyes widen. You can tell she's positively PO'd now. "Don't you lie to me." She says it in the most annoying, painful voice ever. "I saw you cutting fabric for that woman." No, that was my mother. We got tired of waiting for an employee, so I just did it. "Bull!" she screams at me. "You're such a terrible liar. I'm taking you to your manager. I'll have your job for this." She then grabbed my arm and started pulling me, so I quickly pull my arm away from her and say, "Ma'am, please don't touch me." She grabs my arm again and says, "Don't talk to me like that, you brat. I'm the elder, so I get to do what I want. Come with me." No, I say as I pull my arm away a second time. "What do you mean, no?" says Karen. "You can't grab me and just take me places just because you're older than me. It doesn't make everything you say automatically true. I don't work here. If you want to try and get me fired, go right ahead, but I'm not going anywhere with you." She gasps as if she's just heard the most shocking thing that's ever been said in the history of mankind. "You do not talk to me like that," she says to me. By this point, my mom is starting to come back, sees this random lady yelling at me, and runs to her. This is how it went down. M, "What the hell are you doing?" My mom says to Karen. K, "This little brat just refused to give me service, then assaulted me when I tried to take him to the manager." Me, "What? Assaulted you?" My mom intervenes. "What do you mean, refused to give you service? He doesn't work here." Karen, "Bullcrap. He was cutting your fabric earlier." "That's because I'm his mother, and we didn't want to wait for an employee." So they started bickering at each other for a little bit until the manager sees what's happening and runs over to them. "Excuse me, what's happening here?" "This brat assaulted me and refused to help me. Fire him now." I just started laughing at this point because the situation was absolutely ridiculous. "This young man doesn't work here, and I doubt he assaulted you." "Oh God, that's such a lie. You probably are just trying to save his butt. He did assault me. He violently pulled me after I asked to see the manager." "No, I didn't." "Okay, let's start at the beginning. I want to hear what happened from both sides. Why don't you go first?" pointing at her. Karen begins to make up some sob story about how I wasn't working, then called her names after she asked me to simply cut some fabric for her. The manager then asked for my side. "And you?" I then explain what actually happened, and it turns out my mom had seen half of the thing, so she was able to support me. "All right, ma'am, he really doesn't work here. He's not even in uniform, and he's obviously underage." "What's your name? I'm turning you both into the higher-ups. I'm going to get you both fired." The manager tells her his name, and she types it into her phone. Now I'm gonna need you to leave. You're disrupting customers and being generally unpleasant. I will not! I'm a customer! This little brat refused to help me and now you're supporting him? This is bullcrap and I'm not leaving. He then calls a security guard to escort her out. Later, we were paying for our items when the manager saw us and apologized for what happened and told us to please next time wait for an employee because they actually charge you for the fabric at the counter in the aisle instead of the main registers. He was super polite about it and gave us the fabric for free. Next time, try yelling, "Stranger danger," when someone goes, "I'm the elder and you have to come with me." Sure as hell sounds like kidnapping to me. And our next story. Boys' toys for little girls. Hi. First story here. Quarantine is giving me some time to remember old experiences and waste an ungodly amount of time on Reddit. This is from 3 years ago, so it's more on the narration than on the verbatim memory side. English is not my first language, so customary preemptive excuses are in order. There's this particular and very big toy store I used to go to because it has lots of plastic models and RC kits, plus it was on the way of a regular client for a certain project of my company, so after the meetings, I used to go and take a look. This particular time, a bit after 5 p.m., I'm checking some models, and a sweet old lady comes asking if I can recommend a toy for her grandkid. I'm all in for things that stimulate creativity and help her choose a wooden model kit of a train that she loves. Then back to check some gunpla. I'm checking some boxes when I have a rather hard tap on my shoulder. Karen makes her entrance in her Karen fashion. "Hey, I need some help. I need you to find something for my daughter." I look at her. She's like a showcase of evidently fake glasses, watch, purse, and hair color. By her hand is a little girl, maybe 9. I'm terrible with kids' ages, who looks a bit uncomfortable with the situation. I try to answer, "I don't..." "Do your job instead of giving excuses. My time is valuable. You were helping that old woman just before." She snapped back without allowing me to finish anything. Note this was in Spanish, and she used a fairly rude form of old woman. I could have argued back, but the girl was looking really uncomfortable with the situation. I decided to play along for her. I squat to the level of the little girl. "Hi, my name is Needs More Boca. You want me to help you find a toy, especially for you?" She nodded, yes. Karen intervenes. "I want you to find her a good doll or something." I take the nod and ask LG, "You want a doll? Or maybe things to build, big rockets or fast cars?" Her eyes widened with those 2 words. "Rockets, I like them." "What? No, she needs girl toys to play. She doesn't need boy toys." Karen protested, but LG looked up with a supplicant look. I noticed a hint of regret on Karen's face. Time to keep pushing. "Okay, sweetie, give me 1 second and I'll bring something for you." I remembered the thing I'd looked for the old lady and picked up 2 boxes. One is a red Lego Technic plane, a bit on the expensive side because F Karen, and the other is a small water pressure bottle rocket kit. I came back with the boxes, a bit hidden, and say, "Okay, these are 2 special toys for big, smart, and strong girls." I present the boxes and Karen looks at me irate. "These are not for her. She needs dolls. Give me a Barbie or something like that right now." Karen didn't know it yet, but the battle was already lost. LG's eyes widened as if she'd found the Holy Grail and extended her arms for the Lego box, hugging the box with more care than any hug her mother would deserve. "Why don't you listen to me? Get me a doll for the girl. Who do you think you are?" Karen was now trying to impose herself. "But I want this, Mom, please." I raise and look her in the eyes in the most menacing way I can. Very mild, to be honest. I'm not exactly a big guy. "You asked me to find a toy for her. Her opinion, not yours, is what counts." She looks at me furious. If not contained, she would have left me bawled and screaming, but the little girl pulled her arm and stopped her. "Please, Mama, I want this one. I don't want dolls." Defeated, she huffed and puffed and left, pulling the little girl who refused to let the box go. On my side, I take a moment to pick my gunpla. Hey, I felt like I deserved one, and went to the cashier. I was just getting my shopping bag when Karen reappears, followed by the manager. "That's him. He was rude and didn't help." The manager replied with a huge sigh. "He's a customer." She looked confused as I present her my shopping bag. On her side, the little girl is holding her own shopping bags with the Lego plane. I just smiled at her and winked. She gave me back a smile that made my whole week. Classic, I know your boss, D-bag. A post in another sub shook this teenage memory loose, so I figured I'd share it. When I was a kid, I used to work school breaks at my uncle's golf course. I did a little of whatever was needed, but mostly I was behind the desk in the pro shop, ringing up greens fees, cart rentals, etc., making tea time reservations. One summer, this absolute twat waffle was trying to get me to bend the rules for him and his buddies about tea times and was being a bit of a bully because I was a young girl. When I wouldn't give in to his crap, of course, he pulled a, "You know Mr. L, your boss? Well, I'm really good friends with him. I'd hate to have to call him and tell you how unhelpful you've been." I responded with, "I do know Mr. L, but I call him Uncle R, and I know for a fact he'll be on my side. Want me to call and check?" He, of course, backpedaled in a hurry. Turns out he did know my uncle. Everyone who golfed there knew him. He basically bought the place so he could golf all the time and socialize. I saw them in a bar later chatting, went up to my uncle, gave him a big hug while standing there with my arm around him, asked the other guy, "How did that tea time turn out for you and your friends? Any issues?" He stumbled for a second and then assured me that everything was great. Nothing super exciting, but it did give me a chuckle to remember, so I figured I'd share. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.